hearing aid. The first slide is simply giving you an idea of some design concepts. With a bit of luck, that top left one will never be made. That's uni students for. Now, just to recap, how do you know you need a hearing aid? Well, what I've found is that your friends and family are the first to tell you. Then you'll start misinterpreting things. Now, the other day, I was listening to the radio, and they were saying how important pizzas were in schools. And I was getting more and more agitated about this idea of the importance of pizzas because I believed that they weren't good for you. And then it dawned on me, they weren't talking about pizzas, they were talking about teachers. So, it's getting to the point where I'm going to have to go and have a hearing test, and they will probably then tell me that yes, I need to get a hearing aid. Now, a hearing aid in its simplest form is just a microphone, an amplifier and a speaker. Since the advent of digital technology, you can add in the computer chip. Now, that's the heart of the modern hearing aid. It's what you're paying for. If you ask the manufacturers, they would say, or Oticon says it took 60 computer programmers a year to come up with the latest software for their hearing aid. It might just mean they're very slow, but I don't know. When you're looking at getting a hearing aid, there's two basic types, which depend on the type of hearing loss you've got. If you have just a high frequency hearing loss, usually typified by you saying, I can hear people talking, but I just can't understand what they're saying. The popular style is a little one behind the ear with a wire going down into the ear or a slim tube. The idea is that that style doesn't block the ear canal, so if you've got good low tone hearing, the low tones can just go straight into the canal. The hearing aid simply amplifies the high tones. If you've got a low tone loss as well, you can virtually choose any style of hearing aid you like because it doesn't matter that the canal gets blocked up. Okay, now what's new on the market? When I gave this talk about 4 odd years ago, I mentioned an aid that was being developed in California called the Lyric. It created a lot of interest. As of next month, we will be able to fit it in Australia because the company was bought by Phonak. Now, this doesn't suit everybody, but it's a neat idea, and that it fits right near the eardrum, and you keep it in for 3 months at a time. Then you come back into the centre and we replace it with another one. So you actually pay for a yearly subscription. It requires a nice ear canal, preferably a large one with no bony growths in it. So, as I say, it doesn't suit everybody. The reason it can sit 3 months is because it's analogue technology, so it's not as sophisticated as the new digital hearing aids. You would get it for the convenience of not having to change the battery. In a similar vein, you have these deep canal hearing aids. You do take them out regularly because the battery would probably only last 3 to 5 days. By having it right down against the eardrum, you get a natural amplification and directionality from the pinner. They've only recently become available, and I can't really comment on how successful they are. This is a clever device from Resound, a Danish company. The piece that's sticking up is the microphone, and that sits in the top part of the ear. By sitting up there, you get no wind noise, and once again, you can take advantage of the natural directionality of the pinner. I've fitted quite a few of those, and they've been very successful. However, of course, getting back to that third slide, if you've got good low frequency hearing, then this style of aid would seem to block up your ear. You wouldn't really tolerate it. Just like the lyric of 4 or 5 years ago, this is an unusual idea, again from California, called the in-the-mouth hearing aid. It's still in development, and it's for people who have either one deaf ear or a middle ear problem where they can't wear a hearing aid, but the cochlea is okay. You put a little aid on the ear and it transmits the speech to a device you wear in your mouth. Gives new meaning to the idea that your teeth are chattering. Now, if that style didn't impress you, then the standard aid for people who have one deaf ear or they can't wear a hearing aid on one side is the cross fitting, where you wear a microphone on the ear and it transmits the signal across to the good ear. They've been around for years. What Phonak has done is miniaturised the system, so now it's a nice looking aid, and that works well. The idea, if you have one deaf ear, transmitting the sound to the good ear works best when it's quiet. If you can imagine somebody's on this side, this ear's deaf, they're talking, the microphone on this side sends a signal to your good ear, everything's fine. When there's background noise, that you don't want that microphone to actually amplify the noise as well, because that amplification goes through to the good ear and makes it worse. So in noise, the system actually turns off. So it's good in certain situations. One of my big bugbears with hearing aids is how often they have to be repaired because of moisture. What is now available is this nano coating, which is a thin polymer that adheres to every component in the aid to make it water repellent. And according to ReSound, that's reduced their repairs by 50%, which from my point of view is excellent, because it's very frustrating, and it's frustrating for the people who have hearing aids that you pay a lot of money for something that is affected by moisture. Taking that a step further, Siemens has just brought out the Aquarius, which is a waterproof aid. They say it's waterproof to a metre for 30 minutes. You can swim with it, but you need to have special ear molds so that the water doesn't get in your ear. It's just it's for mild to moderate hearing losses. So it's only just come out, we haven't actually fitted any yet, but it's an interesting idea. Accessories. Bluetooth, which is a short wireless system that can connect to your hearing aids, has been around for a few years now, and that is a very good system for bringing whatever you want to listen to directly into your ears, getting rid of the distance between the speaker and you. It's now available from every manufacturer. Some require you to wear a device around your neck, and others don't. If you don't want to wear a device around your neck, then I suspect you will find that the battery life in the aid will be less, because the battery in the aid is actually the one powering the Bluetooth receiver. Wear the device around your neck and that's the battery, will last a lot longer. Widex has come up with what they call the Zen programs in their hearing aids for people who have tinnitus. people who just want to listen to music. The computer chip will create what they call fractals, which are, in this instance, computer-generated sounds that are constantly repeating, but never quite the same as each other. That enabled somebody with tinnitus to have a bit of sound in the background to try and reduce the stress of the tinnitus. Now, the most important decision with choosing a hearing aid is the provider. What you want to do is go to somebody who deals with all the brands. The reason for that is that the manufacturers leapfrog each other with new technology. So if you go to somebody who only has one brand, you might be missing out on a technology that's available in another brand that would suit you better. This is just a list of the manufacturers' outlets for different brands. And the other interesting thing is a lot of the hearing aid chains have their staff working on commission, so it's in their interest to sell the most expensive product. Internet sales. I wasn't sure whether to put this slide up because it's a contentious issue. Recently, you might have seen on the news what was considered a new aid was marketed on all the commercial television stations as a new product. And I was a little bit annoyed with that, but I thought, well, it's just an infomercial. Then it appeared on ABC News, and I couldn't believe it because it's not a new product. They call it Australia Ears. If you Google America Ears, you'll find a very similar product there. It's been out for some time. And then it ended up on the new inventors, and all I can say is thank God they closed because it's not a new invention. The problem with internet sales is the ongoing service. So what do you do if the hearing aid breaks down? And hearing aids, because of moisture, can be fickle devices. You need to be able to see the person face to face to get it repaired as quickly as possible, not send it by the post in the hope that it'll get fixed or in the hope that it'll actually reach there. The Office of Hearing Services, if you are on a pension, you can apply for a voucher from the Office of Hearing Services, which is a government service. That voucher will entitle you to a free hearing test and free hearing aids from eligible providers. Now, once again, it's a good idea to go to people who have a range of hearing aids because every manufacturer will put out an aid for the Office of Hearing Services, and they're not all the same. They leapfrog each other. I put this slide in because you need to appreciate that with hearing, you're not doing what optometrists do with eyesight, where you put your glasses on and you've got perfect eyes again. With hearing, for most of us, you're still dealing with a damaged cochlea. The hair cells are no longer there to detect the signal, regardless of how well it's amplified. And just for novelty value, I found this on the internet. Lee Majors, the fellow who was the $6 million man in the 70s, apparently his hearing is going now. Yeah. Now, getting back to my second slide, this is the typical microphone, amplifier and speaker. There would be no computer chip in there. He'd be happy to receive your $14.95 and you would have wasted your money. Thanks for listening. Any questions? Oh.
The phonics leak that you were talking about.
Lyrics?
Yes.
Right in the... Yeah.
The leak one. For people with deafness in one ear.
Yeah, the crozet.
Yeah. Thank you. Is that the latest thing now, or is it, because I actually tried a phonak with the piece that you put on the table that would act as the microphone.
Yeah.
And then an audiologist converted it to just the hearing aid, but I've not found either really satisfactory.
That's an FM system. Yeah. This is not an FM system. It's a device for helping people who have no hearing on one side. So,
yes,
yeah.
but if they use two speakers, it can also give impression people that they hear
Yeah, that's right. People do say that if they've got a microphone on both sides, even though technically this ear is not doing anything, it can give the impression that they're hearing in both ears. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what not to do. Any more questions?
Sorry about that.
I'd like to make a comment about service providers, and what you say is very good about watching for which service provider provides what. When I have made my first approach to service providers, I asked, what type of hearing aids do you have for me? The answer I got from two providers was, oh, so we need to test your hearing and then we can tell you. How should one handle that sort of response?
Well, you can happily have your hearing tested. That doesn't mean you've got to stay there to be fitted. So you can listen to what they have to say and then happily walk away and get a second opinion. When you're getting a hearing aid, the reputable people will provide you with a 1-month trial. Now, they'll probably ask you to pay for the aid up front, but then if you return it, they should give you your money back minus, say, a small fitting fee. But you should never feel pressured into getting the hearing aid. They might tell you, but they can just return the aid to the manufacturer. So if they are only going to offer you one brand, I'd go somewhere that offers you more. I mean, it's important because I would deal with at least 3 different brands at any one time because everybody's different. They have different needs. Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Can everybody go to your Double Bay Centre?
Can everybody go to your centre?
Yes, happily, yep.
Okay, so is it similar to going to... okay, so it's basically just St Vincent's expert, testing and recommendation of hearing aids and provision of hearing aids?
You can go to Hearing and Balance either here or at Double Bay, it doesn't matter.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, that's right.
There was no room for me here, so they kicked me down to Double Bay. Very lonely.
Okay, well I think we'll call it a day then. Thank you very much, Bruce.